the lower half of the west coast now. We've just been for a really nice walk along a huge sea loch. It was so pretty. I love these landscapes where the mountains come down to the sea with like all the bracken and the heather, and then it comes down to the sea and there's all these seaweeds, and it's quite amazing actually because there's so many different seaweeds here, and it's sort of like a little bit of a secret walk through all these rhododendrons. It's quite funny because I think you can tell where there was estates and old houses around here because there's always rhododendron, and then you suddenly see a big house pop up and you're like, oh, they brought rhododendron over, did they? But it must look really nice in the spring because they all come out in sort of late spring in pink flowers, and it must look really beautiful. Last night was another torrential rain and heavy wind. I didn't sleep very well again. But today we were really surprised. We thought we were just going to do a quick walk, but we were really surprised and the weather cleared up and it's been really nice.
No, it has.
So now we're going to drive to Fort William, which is quite a long way away, but we need to do some essentials like laundry and get some shopping, and then we're going to find somewhere to park, and I think we're just going to explore the lochs, sea lochs around here, aren't we?
I think so.
It's like typical, like I think what you imagine Scotland to be like around here, where there's huge lochs and then these huge mountains. So yeah, we're just going to head off and I'll see you in Fort William.
Toodles.
Hello, it's about lunchtime now. We've had quite a slow morning just driving around. I didn't really film much more last night because it was pretty boring at Fort William, waiting for our laundry and doing our food shopping.
Didn't even get it dry enough anyway.
Oh yeah, the laundry shut before we could dry it all, so we've now got semi-dry clothes, a lot of them as well. And then when we found somewhere to park, it was dark, so I just thought I'd start again this morning, or not this morning, lunchtime. So it's Shrove Tuesday today, or Pancake Day, so we have got stuff for pancakes, which is
very exciting.
Yeah, we do love pancakes. And then we are going to walk around this old oak rainforest, which I'm quite excited about because I do love woodland. Well, we both love woodland. And I love the highlands and pine forest as well, but there is something about woodland, and we haven't really gone to any deciduous ones.
No, we haven't.
No, so, and it looks quite amazing from the photos. So I'm just going to have a quick wash my hair and stuff, and thought I'd just show you what we do for that in the van, because I think sometimes when people are going away in a van, they are worried. Well, I definitely used to be, but since we worked something out, but about finding showers and things like that. I mean, Brochan's not very worried. So yeah, I'm just going to do that, and then we're going to have our pancakes and then go for a walk. So this is our little bowl. It's just a really small washing up bowl. You can get collapsible ones, but they're a lot more expensive. So you've just got this little one that goes under this cupboard here. And then we just use a shampoo bar, natural shampoo bar. Just got a little natural soap thing, and rather than conditioner, because it's just annoying washing it out, I've got this leave-in conditioner from Lush called Super Milk, which is really nice. And then we just use a cup to wash our hair and rinse it, and then flannel for the rest of your body. So it's really easy and useful for when you can't find a shower, so yeah. This is Ariundle Oak Rainforest, part of only 30,000 hectares or around 115 square miles left in Scotland. It is a special habitat, abundant with lichens, mosses and liverworts, that rely on the high rainfall, mild temperatures and clean air of the area. It feels very special when you enter. The old trees adorned with lichens, mosses and ferns, the tendrils dripping from the damp air. The ground is spongy beneath your feet as you walk. In places there are hat-like growths of mosses on old tree stumps. I can't quite believe how thickly it grows. I can imagine it is even more magical when you visit in spring or summer. In winter there is less colour and many plants and species aren't around or visible, still in their dormancy. Here trees are allowed to grow huge and wide, and the fallen trees are left to regrow from what remains of their roots, rather than to be cleared away. It is a magical place, a place of silence and deep thought. Rare species cling to life here, pushed into these corners of the world needing clean air that isn't widely available now. This is lungwort lichen, or Lobaria pulmonaria. It is found in other parts of the country but is sensitive to woodland management and air pollution such as CO2 and acid rain. It is an incredible looking lichen. I don't think I've ever seen it before, especially not in this quantity, growing like a thick canopy of leaves on the tree branches. It feels like another world, a fairy world, but you don't need to walk far to see the end of the forest and be reminded of how fragile this forest is and the threats it's facing. The climate needed for a rainforest covers less than 1% of the planet. A forest that may have stretched across the Atlantic coastlines from Norway, Ireland, Britain, France and Spain is now in fragments, and the best remaining example in all of Europe is in Scotland. There are a number of threats to this forest, 2 of them being overgrazing and invasive species such as rhododendron. 40% of rainforest sites have levels of grazing which aren't sustainable, and 80% of the overgrazing is by deer, the rest being sheep raised for human consumption. There is a huge effort to control deer numbers in Scotland. I don't agree with shooting animals, but I also see why control is needed. At the same time though, large estates are actively feeding deer and encouraging their numbers. Brochan and I were confused one day driving through estate land, seeing piles of what I think were turnips, crowded with deer munching on them. After reading about it, I found that apparently for every trophy stag shot on an estate grounds, £50,000 is added to the value of the estate. It is a disturbing world to me when taking a life for sport and damaging the land adds value to a property. The other big problem is rhododendron. It is quite an invasive species and can cover forest floors from blocking out light. These were usually brought over to be planted on manor grounds as exotic species. It seems to me historically large estates have quite a lot to answer for when it comes to the welfare of rainforests and the land. Along with these threats, climate change is squeezing the habitat into ever smaller spaces, and air pollution makes it impossible for the more sensitive lichens and bryophytes to live. There is so much known about the coral reef and the Amazon rainforest, and great efforts to save and protect them. I wholeheartedly agree with these movements. But what about these small, less glamorous habitats which are so important also? I doubt many people even know that Scotland is home to rainforests. I didn't until this year. We need to work towards protecting all rainforests, not just the Amazon. These habitats are just as fragile and even less of them remain now. I really hope one day that they will flourish again and join up to cover the Atlantic coast of Europe once more.